With Chuck Weber on Mediacom MC22 here at First Intermission. It's the Iowa Heartlanders and Cincinnati going at each other once again here on Hard Hats on Ice Night. Chuck, for the Heartlanders last night, not how you drew it up by any stretch of the imagination. The game can change so quickly. That was a point that Sam Kaiser and I were talking about last night. Hit a post or two, and all of a sudden, one or two in the back of your net, and it's 3-0 before you can blink an eye. So what was your message to the team this morning about some of those chances that didn't get capitalized on?
Yeah, I mean, we have to find a way to score more goals. It doesn't matter whether you lose 2-1 or 6-1. It's still the one. It's different if you're losing 6-4 or 6-5. You can be like, okay, listen, give ourselves a chance. They were clinical with their chances. We were not. Like you said, we had a few posts. I liked our start, actually. I thought we had good spirit to our game. We just weren't direct enough. We weren't simple enough. We just, and then you give up the one just after the power play, and then it's boom, it's another rush goal, and then all of a sudden you're chasing the game in that situation, and we spent too much time chasing.
How much of this season has been for you trying to keep guys through the process and on the horse in game when it might be down 2-0 or down 3-1 to make sure the guys keep driving the right way, recognizing playing that right way can get you back into games?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. And then even in a situation like this where we're playing the same team 3 times in a row, I mean, that was my big message in the third was, guys, every hit matters. Like, every shot matters. Try to score the last goal of the game to carry it over to the next game. I mean, these are all messages for a young team that at times I feel like are falling on deaf ears a little bit, because it's like, and that's what gets frustrating as a coach is when you're showing stuff in video and things like that, and we're making some of the mistakes, and we've been talking about, unfortunately, with this group, we'll put 3 or 4 things on the shelf, something falls off. So we get better at 3 or 4 things, but something falls off, and our ability to hold on to those gains, learn from our mistakes, but hold on to our gains has been something that's been an Achilles heel for us.
Cincinnati just played 9 of their last 10 at home. Now they're in game 2 of 8 straight on the road. That pretty much takes them to the end of the regular season. And they're trying to get into the playoffs, kind of trying to find their playoff style hockey. How much have you appreciated their progression on video over these last few weeks as they've been able to fine tune some things and try to get themselves playing more like a playoff team?
Yeah, I mean, their affiliate has done them a lot of favors. The Maple Leafs have done a great job helping them get some college players to fill in down the stretch here, and as them being a team that's battling for a playoff spot, it's easier for some of the higher end college players to want to go there. Unfortunately, we dug ourselves a hole, and trying to get some guys that come in right now. Guys are like, well, I'd rather have the chance to make the playoffs, and even though we're saying, hey, you get X number of games and you're going to be an unrestricted free agent, still, when all said and done, it's our record has done us a disservice from some of the recruiting points there. But again, one of the things I've wanted with this group is for this group to ride together to the end. Take this team all the way to April 18th. I didn't want an assembly line of new players coming in. I want this group to hopefully, again, it's a group that cares a lot for each other. I think we've seen from the standpoint, the score wasn't as much of an indicator of the game. So it's like we're there, and it's just just needing to find to get over that hump that way.
We mentioned in the pregame show and then at the beginning of the first period of tonight's broadcast about trying to make it a little bit easier on the goaltender at points, not giving those freebie chances or leaving your goaltender out to dry as much as maybe some of those 2-on-1s and penalty shot might indicate throughout the course of last night's game. And with a rookie goaltender that's making his first pro start tonight in Chase Woodsky, how'd you feel he did last night and why the call for him tonight?
Well, again, it's a big part for his development. Minnesota would like to see him get some games here down the stretch as he's looking to turn pro next year. Merce has played a lot of hockey this year as well. I mean, his body's pretty beat up right now. Merce is still going to get a number of games with us as long as his body holds up. But this is an opportunity for Chase here to show. Like I said, I think Merce last night would say that was one of his poorer starts this year. He's bailed us out many times, so I'm never going to blame him in a situation. But I think, as you saw by the expected goal number here, that both our guys would say that might want 1 or 2 back. But you know what? That's the nature. This is a team game. We're not going to win games scoring only 1 goal. So again, whether Chase or Mercer in the net, our group in front of them's got to start producing 3 or 4 goals.
Chuck, I think Chase was born right as Talladega Nights was in production with Will Ferrell. I mean, he's 2006 birth year. He's 19 years old. How have you found throughout your career, and you just did this in college for years, that you can relate to someone who might be like 30 or 40 years younger than you are?
It's a lot different. I mean, he was born when I was just starting my head coaching career in Cincinnati. From that standpoint, he's a great kid. Again, they know a lot more about the social media and apps and stuff like that than I do.
The apps makes you sound in your 50s.
Exactly,
I'm sorry.
which I am. But they're great kids. They know we want the best for them as individuals, and if they can if they can have some individual success, it'll lead to team success. Well, then will lead back to even more individual success. So, want Chase to make all the saves he's supposed to make, a couple he's not, and give us a chance to win the game.
Chuck, thanks again. We always appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Absolutely. That's Iowa Heartlanders head coach Chuck Weber here on MediaCom. MC22. We'll be back next with Chris Peters.